separated from, or their family separated from them and pulled to who knows where in these in these ice facilities where you can't
Yeah,
even
and these
know where
raids.
your family's at. Yeah, that's crazy to me, man. I mean, I don't know, and I don't know why will anybody support it. Whether you agree with, whether you want to support Latinos in this fight, this struggle or not, doesn't mean you should negatively talk about it, right? Just if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Just keep it to yourself. Let them fight their struggle and keep it pushing. But I mean, you're all on social media. Everybody is. You see where you see African Americans say they don't want to support them no more. And you see Latinos saying, we want you to unite with us. And if you don't, and then you have some Latinos say, we don't care if you don't fight with us. Man, that's the division we don't need.
Yeah,
Right?
it's almost like that was an unforeseen circumstance, right? I wonder if someone planned that this was going to start tearing apart groups that were together at one time. This is like a casualty, a byproduct of this. I'm gonna call it a war, a byproduct of this war.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're at 100% right. I don't know if this is diabolically planned or just kind of happened to fall into this way, but it just seems like they're trying to divide us. And man, it was funny. I was talking to somebody there. So the only thing that unifies us typically sports and music, right?
Mm.
Those are two things that unify us. And right now, you kind of see none of that. Athletes aren't coming out speaking about it, and neither the music isn't speaking about it either. Or artists that are in the music industry or the entertainment industry aren't really speaking about it. Everybody kind of wants to go their own separate ways. I'm here to tell you, I think black and brown need each other, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
amen.
We're in the same communities. We're in the same environment. We go through some of the similar struggles that we do. And just because one in this last election voted heavily for somebody that we didn't favor doesn't mean anything. I mean, you make a mistake. We make mistakes all the time. And I see people say, oh, why are they waving the Mexican flag when they're doing this? Well, I mean, you could ask the same question. Why was we wearing the African colors doing Black Lives Matter?
Mm.
I mean, just because I'm wearing the colors don't mean I want to go back to Africa. And just because
Yeah,
they're waving the flag about their heritage doesn't mean they want to go back to Mexico. They're fighting the injustice. I mean, I think we're losing the point, losing the sight. We're fighting the injustice of ICE coming in and pulling these people away. Right? That's what we're doing. And some of them are legal immigrants,
yeah.
not illegal. They're legal immigrants. And they got to go through this whole custody thing and this whole trial thing just to kind of prove themselves that they're innocent. But I'm not getting it, man. I really don't understand where the divisiveness kind of came in. But I mean, I can understand both sides. I really
Yeah.
can.
I would say shouts out to Senator Alex Padilla. He was if y'all haven't
A little
seen
scuffle
the
today.
clip,
Yeah,
Alex Padilla
man.
was trying to ask some questions and was trying to get some answers, but they removed him from the conference with the officials. I don't even want to say her name because I don't know her name. I don't think she's doing a great job. But anyway, Alex Padilla was trying to get some clarity in terms of what was going on in here, and he was not arrested. He was put in handcuffs and moved out, but I know he was not arrested. They don't plan on filing charges, but that's where it's at, right? I mean, we're trying to get some answers to why all this is happening. I will say this, and then we'll get on to some social impact of sports conversation. I'm seeing. I'm not going to put their business out on the street, but I'm seeing people that are my kids' age, out there being vocal about all the stuff that's going on. And they're showing the flip side. They're showing what's really going on in the streets, right? They're actually out there doing grassroots stuff and banding together and saying, no, this look over here because this is what's really jumping off. Don't be fooled. Don't fall for the okey doke. So I will say this next generation or this generation that's here right now, some of them I think are going to be all right because they seem to be banding together and trying to get some momentum going with all this stuff.
I just please don't divide our communities and our neighborhood based
Yeah.
on this. And please don't, again, if you don't like their cause, still stand in solidarity, right? We
Yeah.
don't like everything everybody else does, but we stand in solidarity. It's funny. It's just funny, man. These communities will defend negative stuff, but we won't defend positive stuff, whether you felt they were right or wrong in the beginning. Anyway, it's kind of crazy to me. I mean, I just hope it doesn't divide the community because, as we see, when black and brown do come together, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know, things start to happen. Um, and I think you shouldn't claim their immigration status is something that is why all of a sudden we can turn our backs on people. You know, I think, to be honest with you, I think the brown community is probably is divisive more so than ever now, right? All these people
Yeah.
voted for this president in, and then this happened. This situation happened. Us as African American community, we kind of now we're standing back and we're looking back, and I can
Like
see why
we
some of
knew.
y'all we're not. Yeah, we're pointing the finger like how we told y'all this was gonna happen, but now okay, it's happened. All right, we told you, haha. Now let's stand together so we can get everything right and make everything better again. People can say what they want to say. I seen a post about some gentleman saying, you know, what do they expect? They're illegal immigrants. They should get out of the country. But do you know your food comes from illegal immigrants picking the fruit and picking the vegetables? Do you know when you go stay in a hotel? And I'm not categorizing, but a hotel are mostly managed and the services by immigrants. Do you know most restaurants cooks are immigrants? The food that you eat when you go take out. Do you know all the things they do? They open businesses, and guess what? They pay taxes.
Yes, they do.
So, I mean, illegal or not illegal, they're doing the due diligence and being able to stay in this country and holding their own. My biggest question in this whole thing is that ICE premises was to go get supposed to go get illegal immigrants that were criminals and deport them. Where now it's changed where we're just deporting everybody
Yeah.
if you're an illegal immigrant.
Yeah. We just rounding folks up, and my we'll move on. But I guess now I'm nervous because it's going to escalate and it's going to escalate quick, right? Because
Yeah.
one thing is one thing to have the police, it's one thing to have the National Guard, but when the Marines come in, that's when kind of playtime is over. All right. Shouts
Well, I
out to
mean,
everyone else. I mean, like the Coast Guard, Air Force, Army, all them, right? Everyone. Obviously, I love the Air Force. My dad was in the Air Force. But listen, when the Marines come in, right? There's no more conversation, and then things can start getting violent, and they probably will start getting violent. So we don't want them deployed. And Gavin Newsom, again, no matter who you voted for or whatever, standing up to 47 and having their back and forth. Some of it's comical and all,
yeah.
but we don't want the Marines deployed. Let the National Guard. We don't even want them. Let the local police handle it and deal with the situations. But I'm fearful that it's going to escalate really quickly should some of those other armed units
When
come
is
in.
humanity gonna become more important than these BS laws? Like
Yeah.
humanity, like
Wow.
just humanity, like the right thing to do.
Hmm.
Like I don't care what you did. I mean, I don't care what you voted for before, or this was that, or even I mean, even if you were racist before, if you humanity is humanity, man. Treat people right, treat situations right. And I'm not trying to be that political guy that's all like, oh, la, la, everything's la la. I'm not. I'm far from that. I really do have a stand, but on this one, man, it's just like this is just plain humanity. This is like rounding people up and putting them in concentration camps because that's basically what they are, and waiting to deploy them. That's inhumane. That is inhumane.
Karma
So
gonna catch up with somebody. Some gonna catch up. All right.
let's go. Let's roll with
Yeah,
this.
let's roll. We see everybody in the building. We see the comments coming. Appreciate y'all. We will let's do this. I want to recap a story, kind of change the the mood just a little bit. Recap a story that we talked about. I think it was last week. Game related. Uh, Jay-Z. Oh, let me get your head right. Let me get you back in focus here. Jay-Z. You know that
Okay.
$1 million I was telling you about.
Oh yeah.
Jay-Z was let me get $1 million on SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder to win this game so I can get my $3.3 million. Well, Hove is out of his $1 million.
Good.
Dropping.
Good.
You know,
Good.
he messed around and lost his $1 million. It could have been 3.3, but yeah, he put that
No, it
down.
could have been donated to somebody to help
Oh, see, now
people
there
in
you
that
go
community.
with talking
That's what it could have
rational,
been.
and there you go and making
It
sense.
could
I'm trying to make fun
it
of the
could have been a
man.
tax write off. It could have went to schools. It could have did computers. It could have did all those things instead of you wanted to bet it on SGA and you lost. Well, good.
Sure did.
Good. Congratulations, Vegas.
Shout out,
Congratulations.
Tyrese Halliburton. We used to have you over here on the Kings. Thank you for making it interesting for us and taking some of that Carter money. So there we go. Just
Yeah.
wanted to recap on that particular story. Um, another thing that's going on, and I'm so sick and tired of this. But guess what happened today or yesterday? I'm gonna read this off just really flippantly. Houston Texans safety Jimmy Ward released from jail after arrest on assault charges. Did the same thing yesterday. He was arrested yesterday for what? Strangling his wife or fiance or his girlfriend. Whatever. Right? Pattern here. Black athletes, their significant others. The strangling thing, right? Grown men. He's 33. Jimmy Ward, 33, professional athlete, probably can bench 400 pounds. You know, I'm good at 225, but you know he get grown men, strong, muscular, full of testosterone. Why these grown men had this pattern of strangling their significant others whenever they get into an incident? He was released today on a $30,000 bond. I'm so tired of these stories because it's the same story. Same
Hmm.
story. There
So
you go.
so so again, if we're dealing with the same story, then there obviously is an issue, and it's bigger than just talking about it. Let's. I'm not saying it's the NFL fault, but why don't the NFL curve some intervention in this situation? Why don't the players' union curve some intervention in this situation? Because obviously it's a pattern that goes on from team to team, state to state, place to place. Players Association gets money all the time from the players and all that they donate. It's just like a union.
Hmm.
So why don't the Players Association or that players union come together and say we need to really combat this domestic violence thing and educate these guys on what to do when these situations arrive, how to walk away from them, how not to have alcohol involved, how to get away from it. Create a 911 line on your own so somebody can come pick you up before you do something crazy.
Wow.
Something they should do to curb the situation because it's obvious just either talking about it in a symposium or letting it go
They're not
is
listening.
not working.
They're not
Yeah,
listening.
they're not listening. So if the NFL doesn't want to do something, why don't the Players Association? Because it affects them. It really does affect them. It puts a black eye on black athletes and athletes in general. So why doesn't the association they pay for to discuss their rights for everything else
Hmm.
can't put something together to help them out when situations like this arrive? Like, here's the number you call. If it starts to get escalated with your wife or your significant other, call this number. Somebody will be there right away to help diffuse the situation and get you out of it. That way you don't have to deal with going to jail. You don't got to spend $30,000 of your own money. You ain't got to be criticized in the media, and you ain't got guys like us talking about your dumb ass.
Right. Right.
Period.
Because now it's not comical, but it's redundant. And again, it's the same story. Black athlete. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, it's his fiance. Argument over whatever. I'll put my hands on you. I'm trying to choke you out. It's just now. This is in Houston. Last week it was in whatever. Again, a couple of months ago it was. It's the exact same story. The exact same story.
But think about it. Think about it. If the NFLPA says everybody put this number in your phone, situation where you arguing with your girl, you getting into it, man, grab your phone. I'm down on this number. Blah blah blah. In the next 20 minutes, somebody's gonna come there and
Hmm.
get you out of the situation. Whether they just remove you out of the situation, take you to a hotel for the night so you can de-escalate, blah blah blah, or whatever. But get yourself out of the situation.
Right.
That's the key. And I don't understand. NFL been around for I don't know how many years, 50, 60 years. Um, NFLPA's been around for at least another 25 years. And you mean to tell me, dumb on me, thought of that idea right here in the last 5 minutes, and us smart guys can't think of something like that.
If you do, you got 5 of the 6 lotto numbers. Just I'll come up with the last one. Right. Again, it's not rocket science. It's really not
It's
rocket
not
science.
rocket science, man. This ain't Chinese arithmetic. It's very easy. Players Association, step in. We got to curb this domestic violence thing. Give us a bad image. Okay, cool. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create this intervention group. Blah blah blah. What's gonna happen? You're in an argument with your domestic partner. You're gonna call this number. They're gonna come pick you up. They will take you to a hotel, let you chill out for the night, and you can have the discussion with your significant other tomorrow, the next day, or the next 2 days. Because guess what? You messing up money for you and her and the baby or whatever's on the way, and the kid.
Yes. Yes.
All the money getting messed up.
And
So
these multi-million-dollar contracts that you have signed, right? You signing bonus of $4 million, contract for 1 year of 10.5, including $8.5 million guaranteed. This is grown folks' money here too, right?
yeah. And if I'm the NFL, you messing with my grown folks product. So if you're gonna mess with my grown folks product, y'all better clean this on up.
Yeah.
I don't care. Charge them more on the dues to set this kind of program up. But again, they have it for when players are intoxicated. They have it when players can't drive home. Do the same thing for domestic violence. Have somebody go there, call in your local city. There's only 28 teams, 30 teams. They can call this number, boom. They'll shoot right over to the address where they're at. Go scoop them all up. Let them know what's up. Diffuse the situation a little bit. Scoop them on. Hey, you're gonna be back tomorrow. I know you're mad. Y'all can discuss this tomorrow. You can't. We're not gonna take this charge. If she's still belligerent and still trying to fight with you, figure out a way where they can people that are trained professionals de-escalate it. Get him out of there. Get him out of there and call it another day. A hotel, a 5-star hotel, only costs $400 a night.
Will
A
be
night
less
in jail
than
costs
$30,000
$30,000.
and a
Do the
mugshot.
math. Do the math, man. Come on. Do the math.
What'd you say? 5? That right there would be less than the price of this mugshot and jail time. And yeah, and Marvin, I know you're saying you're not condoning what they did, but the woman probably knows exactly what buttons to push to set him off. That's almost an excuse, though, man. Right? Again, if
And
we
even
were
if she
ever in,
did,
go ahead.
even if she did, I mean, all right, she pushing my button, she getting mad, I'm getting really heated on what she's saying. Let me call this number. Like, hey, let me call this number so they can come get me so I ain't got to deal with this, man. I ain't trying. And don't tell me, like, he can just dial an Uber. It's not the same as Uber. They should have trained professionals in each one of
Yeah,
those cities
they
to
got people
come
waiting.
and de-escalate the situation and be like, hey, come here, remove him from the situation. Listen, man, that little bit of money that you charging right there saves you bail money and all
My
these other
God.
things. And you can just chill and you can talk to your wife, call on the phone from the hotel. Y'all can argue it all out on the hotel phone or whatever y'all want to do. Get to where you're separated in that point. And then obviously everybody calms down after a night worth of sleep. You might be still mad, but at least you have a calmer head. I would think so. And then if they need more help beyond that, the PA or the association they work with should be able to provide additional help, whether it's counseling or intervention or whatever. Like, come on, man. Like, shit ain't rocket science, bro. It's really easy to do.
I
But
worry about the youngsters that are coming up and seeing this kind of stuff, right? Because again, I'm sure Ward's got young kids. He's probably got a football camp or something, right? And folks are looking up to him. And now here's the situation. And so now he's got to go through the whole step of I apologize to the organization, I apologize to the team, apologize to everybody. Right? He's got to go through
yeah, but
all
that's
that,
redundant. We keep
right?
hearing that over and over again.
Yeah,
What are we gonna do to stop it? Like,
that's it.
seriously, like, what are we gonna do to stop it? All right, we accept it. You made a mistake. We get it. What are you gonna do to stop it?
Do better. Yeah.
Because right now, let's be honest. But right now, what he's gonna do? He's gonna go to court. He's gonna pay a fine. He's gonna go to the anger management classes. That's it. His girl may or may not make up with him. Right? She might make up with him. She might not make up with him. And then they go on from here. And none of that happens stops this from possibly happening again. So again, why don't they provide a service that can kind of intervene before it even gets out of hand like this? Period. That's just that's Montel Allen's thought process. Sorry, that's what I
From the
believe.
book of Allen, ladies and gentlemen, from the second chapter. Okay, I'm not going to do that. We're going to blaspheme up in here, but yeah, from
I
the book of
mean,
Allen.
I think it makes common sense. I don't
Yes,
know. You tell me.
it's too easy. I think. Well, no, it's not too easy, but I'm certain. I'm trying to be glass half full. I just got back from a nice vacation, so I'm trying to be on a positive stint here. There's got to be something out there. Someone's just not paying attention and not implementing, or Mr. Ward in the length
And,
of time of the argument didn't grab his phone because he had his phone with him, didn't grab his phone and hit that save number
and
to
guess
call
what?
his boy.
Guess what? If you're in this situation and you don't call, you should get fined.
Oh, there it is right there. I think that's it right there. There's no
Yeah,
there's no other consequence for doing the right thing.
yep.
For not doing the right thing. There's no consequence for not doing the right thing. If there was a
That ain't going to
consequence, and
church.
if you, like you just said just now, if they were fined for not calling the folks, well,
When you get arrested and you go through these things, you should be fined.
yeah,
You should be fined by the team and you should be fined by the Players Association. And I'm not talking about a little fine. It should be a hefty fine.
yeah.
Because there's no need to put a black eye on $1 billion business when you don't have to, when you can walk away from the situation.
Man, y'all better listen to this man. He over here talking. Y'all better listen to this man. Making a lot of sense. Making a lot of sense. I don't know.
Yeah, man,
What
it's
y'all
just
think?
it's common
What y'all
sense.
think? Y'all, I mean, it's common sense, but again, common sense ain't common a lot of times. But
You ain't lying. That's my boy Jaylee. He always says that common sense ain't
yeah,
common. And I
right.
agree. I agree 100%. It's not common. But I'm just saying, we always talk about protecting the bag, right?
Yeah,
Those are steps
yeah.
to protect the bag. It
Mm-hmm.
protects the individual, it protects the team, and actually it protects the whole situation with their marriage and their family. And I'm not gonna let it off. You're right. Sometimes women can be the aggressors in these conversations, right? They're not gonna let it go. He might
Yeah.
be trying to walk away. She probably hitting him on the back of the head and
Mm-hmm.
doing all these things and calling him out of his name and all that stuff. You're still a professional athlete. You got to figure out a way to get up out of there and move on and roll. She might have threw his car keys where he can't get to his car to take off. Cool. I call this number. They coming to pick me up anyway. Boom, boom, boom. If they have to, hey, is it getting really out of hand? Yeah, you need to bring a sheriff with you just in case. So, because she's getting real
Mm-hmm.
violent with me.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. That stops it right there. It de-escalates. They pick him up, take him to a hotel. We gone. Maybe cost him $1,500 at most. End of the day,
Done.
saves you out of the 30,000. It just saves you 28.5. Good
Yeah.
to go. I'll take my little 10% counseling fee on mine, and then we good to go.
Done. Then we're not on ABC News. We're not on TMZ Sports or wherever the case may be. It's just us and
Yep.
us.
Yep.
Oh no. All right. Oh, but again, tired of having those conversations. But here we go. Just had to have that, and it's fresh because again, it was yesterday and it was today. But a lot
I
of
got a question for you though.
what's that?
How stupid do the Giants look right now, and how awesome does Browns look right now with Shadur? He just won MVP of minicamp. Looks like he's going to go in as a number one. Think about it. He goes in number one at a bargain price. Brock Purdy price.
Explain that to the people. What we talk about to the people in the back because yeah, okay,
Okay.
that's
So Dart from the Giants, who got drafted before Shadur, said some
that don't
people
even
said he
sound right.
had one of the most horrible training camps ever. He's still ranked last on the depth chart as quarterbacks going in after these OTAs. Shadur just won MVP,
Mm.
and his numbers was something like 33 for 44 for 700 yards and like 9 touchdowns and 1 interception. Super accurate, doing everything. So all the things that we're talking about that he didn't have, he's actually proven it on the field, and he's a leader. They're talking about he would possibly be the rookie starting quarterback for Cavs, and the price is because he got drafted in the 5th round. I think he's making maybe just over $1 million a year in salary. Not very much. And Dart, who was drafted early, is making something like 14 million. And the Giants, who desperately have needed a quarterback for the last umpteenth years,
Generations.
passed on this man. And they not only passed on him once, they passed on him, I believe, twice.
Yeah.
They could have drafted him. So shout out to Shadur and the whole Sanders family. Deion will
And
fight
they're being real
again.
quiet about it too, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Shador
absolutely.
and Dion, nobody's just out here. Look at me, look at me, look at us. We told y'all all that because one, yeah, he's got his salary, but he's making more money
Mm-hmm.
off of his
NIL,
own
and basically
stuff,
NIL advertisement, right? Or
right?
advertisement now. Yeah.
And not necessarily from the NFL.com store or whatever, but his stuff
Mm-hmm.
off of his store. So he's winning on all sides of the conversation, and I saw earlier either today as well that New York is trying to spin it a little bit differently. No, Jackson. That's his first name. Jack Dart is improving. Oh yeah, we see
Yeah.
him doing what he's supposed to do. We gonna get there. Don't try to put the smoke and mirrors on us. We've seen
Hey,
the film and the tape.
going to get there and there are two different things.
It's time to be there.
Shadur seems like he's already arrived. He's
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
and
it's
I
time to
mean,
be there.
I'll be one of the people. I didn't know he was going to be that good that fast. I thought it was going to take him some time. I really did. Regardless of what NFL system he went into, he's proved every naysayer wrong. And the one thing I like about Shadur, all the haters that don't like him, he's been handling himself in the press better
Yeah,
than everyone even thought he could
yeah,
handle himself. He's handling himself in the. I mean, Dion has got him right for this stuff. Whichever way, he's handling himself in the press very, very well. He's playing excellent on the practice field. I know games are different. He's looks like he's super maturing right in front of our eyes as a player, and as what he does on social media and everything. I think if he continues his pace, just go have a successful rookie year.
yeah.
Shadur Sanders will be the hottest guy on the market because he's got the Rocky story with him, right? Came from I came from a Division I double A. They didn't believe in me. I went to a Division I. We had a loser season my first year, and then I overcame that. Guess what? I didn't get drafted high. I overcame that. Now I'm rookie of the year in the NFL. Brother, we in America we love a Rocky story.
Yeah, everything is just sliding off of the Sanders family, right? When it looks like it's gonna fall apart or they're trying to do too much, it just ends up working in their favor. Every single thing
Yeah.
they do, from endorsements, from X's and O's, from wins and losses, from all that. But
Yeah,
we'll
shout out to
see.
Dion, man. I hope his
Yeah,
health is better.
yeah,
Shout out
that's
to
true.
Dion, man.
Yeah,
I hope his health
Dion
is
was
better.
down again, so we do hope that he's feeling much better. But yeah, that's an interesting one right there. I thought you were going to ask me about. Did we talk about Aaron Rodgers last week?
Yeah, we talked about Aaron last
Okay,
week. You
okay.
was hating on him.
I'm still
I ain't
hating.
hating on him. I think
I'm okay. We gonna just pass that by. We're not gonna talk a lot about that, but I I do like Aaron, but we'll see how that works out. Um, one last story that I wanted to get into, just to ask you your opinion on this. You remember the Kings back in the kind of after the heyday? You remember? So not
mm-hmm.
necessarily the Weber and the Bibby time, but you remember some of the players that were around after them that came in kind of that next season when they were trying to win. You got any of those guys' names at the top of your head? I'm setting this up
Yeah,
real good.
you mean is it? I mean, you still saying after post Petrovich and Bobby Jackson after them, or in that same era right
I
there?
think in that same area, yeah. Big man in the middle.
Um, I mean, I forgot who was there back
I'll
then.
tell you who
After
was
they
there.
went.
I'll tell you, Boogie Cousins was there.
Oh yeah, Boogie's the man. Yeah, Boogie was the man. He was way
DeMarcus,
after those dudes, man. He
yeah,
was way
well,
after those. Yeah.
I know he's youngster, but I'm just setting it up there. Boogie, DeMarcus Boogie Cousins, played for the Kings. We loved him. Came with heart every single day. Came with attitude. Uh, no one liked him outside of Sacramento, which was good for us because he was just dominant where he was. Now, the man who was, not is, he was playing in Puerto Rico. Have you seen the clips of Boogie getting ejected after some heckling from the fans?
I kind of heard what he did, but go ahead.
Man, I'm only going to show just a little bit of it. Let me turn this volume down. I don't want no YouTube strikes, but long story short, my man there in the front is heckling Boogie there. Like, oh Lord, Boogie don't do that to you. Then they get to putting hands on each other, and then they get to altercating and fighting. Boogie gets ejected because he don't play that. He's a big fella. I seen him in person. He that's a big fella.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of attitude, good and bad. I say he used to
I
play for
think.
Puerto Rico. He don't play for Puerto Rico anymore because after this altercation, there's another clip of him actually heading back to the tunnel after he was ejected. Fans were throwing food and water on him, and rightfully so. When you start throwing food and water or you spit on somebody, that's when you snap. Marcus Cousin went crazy and started going
Mm-hmm.
after folks. They had to bring in the police. They had to bring in security. They had to do all that. Long story short, Boogie is no longer part of the Mets, which was the team there. He has been removed from the team. It's interesting that this is his second stint with the team. So they tried it twice with this brother, And I think
Yeah.
second time was a charm. They're not going to bring him back. So he was removed from the team. He was terminated from the squad for the altercation with the fans. I don't know how. My question bringing this up, how do you feel about this? Because that tipping point, again, we can talk and altercate, and I can say, give you little crying emojis. I can flip you off. I can do all that. Again, you start throwing stuff on me.
Well, I
There's going to be
mean,
some
my
furniture
opinion,
moving.
Boogie's still disappointed he's not in the league, and that's frustration
Truth,
carried over.
truth.
That's all that is. I mean, you playing in Puerto Rico, yeah, I get it and all that stuff, but he's disappointed. I think he still feels he should be in the league and still playing in the league. And when you're not that, that's when you get in an argument with fans. You know, fans will probably say something to you. You sorry, that's why you're not in the NBA no more, blah, blah, blah. Something hit a trigger with him. He got in a fight with that argument with that fan, and then it just kind of cascaded over. I think that's my opinion. I think he's dealing with depression, and he don't know
Wow.
how to handle it.
Hmm.
I've seen him on several podcasts talking and everything. I think he's dealing with a lot of depression, man, that he's not in the league no more. And rightfully so. I mean, you made it to the ultimate, you were all-star, you won, but
Mm-hmm.
at your era, in your era, you was one of the best by far.
Yeah.
And the fact that now you can't even get a chance in the league no more. I mean, that's got to be disheartening. I mean, we look at Dwight Howard; he's going through the same thing with depression. Not in the league no more. I think it's something. And now that we have social media, people can outlet it more, and we see more about it. I think that's just another act of being have depression.
I never thought about that piece. Right. And so again, that's why we uncomfortable conversation. I never thought about the depression piece and that whole aspect of it, but kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense.
Brother, I do make a little sense sometimes.
Well, you know, every now and then you see old Arsenio Hall, things that make you go,
Yeah, I really do, man. I think that's something that he's not the only one going through. I think there's a lot of ex players, especially when you get to that professional level. Remember, you didn't work your way through high school, through college, and you got yourself to the league, and you were playing in the league for at least 5+ years. Basically, you've been doing the sport longer than you've been alive. I mean, it's more than you've been alive. You know what I'm saying? Or half the time you've been alive. So
Mm-hmm.
it becomes ingrained in your DNA. That's what you do. And when you have to walk away from it, or you're forced to walk away with it, depression sets in. And I think he's still dealing with that depression and hasn't found a viable outlet to offset that depression. And
Is
that's when you act out.
his days over as a ball player?
As a professional basketball player, I think somebody else will try him just because some people want to win maybe another overseas league. But his days in the NBA, I think, are done. No one's going to bring him back in the NBA to play.
Yeah.
And I get it, man. And Boogie's that's the crazy part. DeMarcus Boogie, because he's very articulate, knows the game very, very well. I'm surprised he hasn't went into commentating or talking. And he's kind of got a Charles Barkley kind of mystique with him because he's straightforward. He tells it how it is. He has no filter when it comes out of his mouth. So I'm surprised no one has taken him up on that offer and being in that situation. But as far as playing, man, I think it's over. If you can't make it in the Puerto Rican league, brother, it's
Man, you know what I'm saying?
not a lot of professional organizations you can make it in. And I'm saying that league is bad. I'm just saying, where's the next? You're gonna go to Australia? That's not gonna happen over there. You're not gonna be able to go to Euro League because they're not gonna take it over there. So the bottom line is, if you can't make it in that league, just like everyone else, people will talk and they see these videos. Why do we want to bring that to our situation when we don't have to?
Mm-hmm. Where'd that dude go? Was it China? That one brother that
Marbury? Back in the day?
Marbury.
Stephon
Yeah.
Marbury? Yeah.
I mean,
he made a life over in China though. He was a
won
Michael
championships
Jordan
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
He became the man.
But
I think he got statues over there and all that.
yeah. So, but he found something to fix his curve situation where when he walked away from the game, he's not depressed. I think Carmelo Anthony's done a great job curving his after he's walked away from the game. He has his own winery, or he's doing his wine thing, and he has his podcast, and he's producing shows and all that stuff. So you got to fill that void, right? I mean, and I can speak firsthand. I know when I stopped playing football in college, and I knew it was over, I was depressed.
Yeah.
You know, depressed for a while. You have to kind of figure out a way to something to occupy your time to kind of get you over that. I'm sure you did with baseball. Same thing with baseball.
No, that's true. I just had that little flashback just there when you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. You go through a depression. I think Boogie has a depression he hasn't dealt with, that he's not going to be playing the league no more.
So even with this 2-sentence apology that he put, and he had to do it, right? Again, I want to apologize to the fans of Puerto Rico for my actions. I have so much love and respect for the island, right? Again, it's one of them contractual things you got to do, and just as a good human, you still got to do that. But
I don't think he wrote that. Let's be honest, I don't think he wrote that. Somebody else wrote it for him. He read it and signed off on it. Because that's not a heartfelt message right there, right? If you're really truly sorry, to me, that's not a heartfelt message. If you're truly sorry, I think would have been a lot more content to that message, not a 2-liner. I think somebody wrote it for him, he signed off on it, and they posted it away. And he's on his way back to the States, trying to figure out what his next step might be.
That's sad because again, folks outside of, and you were probably here in this area when he was here. Folks outside of Sacramento didn't like him because he was just dominant and just a bully, but in a good way for us. Helped us win.
Boogie's him. Basketball is not an issue. He can ball. Unfortunately, he had, I think, the knee injury that kind of slowed him down.
Yeah,
but he could ball. But I mean, also to his detriment, him having that no filter has cost him probably a lot of jobs. And he's always speaking out, whether right, wrong, or indifferent to coaches and I'm sure organizations and so on. And just like all these other organizations and billionaires, if they don't want to have to deal with it, they won't deal with it. So I think he's somewhat blackballed out of the league, and I think he's dealing with the depression aspect. I'm not a doctor. Someone else probably have to diagnose it, but I think he's dealing with depression.
no, it's not a. It's a symptom. It's not the problem. Let me ask, and I wonder this, and it just came into my head, and I don't know if it even makes sense. Are fans too close to these athletes
No,
on the field and
I
on the court?
I put my hard-earned money to be close to the athletes.
Right, because again, I'm just like looking at here, and we know we've all been to these games. They right there on the foul line, and is that just too close to
No.
these
What about
folks when they at
professionalism?
work?
Should they be too far from professionalism? Having some professional demeanor about yourself. There's one thing talking to a fan
I
and
knew I
doing all
set
that.
myself up. I just came off the dome there. Oh,
Yeah.
but I hear you on that. Yeah.
There's another thing. I mean, you get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Just because somebody's heckling, you should be able to deal with it. Period. If you let that person rattle you and talk you out of the game, you need to work yourself mentally out of that and figure it out. But they're paying you a lot of money to be out there on that court. Somebody that paid really good money that's helping pay for your salary. Just because they talking some trash about you, you shouldn't have the right to put your hands on them.
Like
Just like they don't
Marvin
have the right to
said,
throw
right? They're
anything
not
at you.
trained to handle those situations. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So the fan is, in my opinion, the fan is 100% okay. He's right. Boogie's wrong for coming over there, grabbing his crouch and trying to slap the man in the face for whatever he said.
Boogie just went, come on, man. You can't do that in front of
Again,
fans,
man,
bro.
I'm telling you, bro, he's dealing with, in my opinion, I think he's dealing with depression. I really do. I think he's dealing with depression. He's not in the league no more, and he just hasn't come to grips with it.
What we gonna do? How we gonna protect these folks? Come on, we see all y'all listening and watching. You know this is good conversation. Chime in. We appreciate those comments coming in. But did we hit a chord with you? We talking something that you don't want to? I wonder if there's a way to put an anonymous comment up. I can't even say the word.
To be honest, to fix it, I think it's a bigger problem than people think. And I think, again, either associations, player associations, or the leagues need to step in. I think there is a really big, that transition from not playing anymore, from playing to not playing anymore, man, that's a huge shock. And a lot of people aren't prepared for it and can't handle it. And when they can't handle it, usually the devices are probably usually drugs and alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to kill that pain and not understand. Some try to live the dream and go play in these other leagues, smaller leagues, go play football, go play Canadian or play the UFL or even play arena, basketball. They got to try to go play overseas and all those things. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that can help your vice and do all that and you're happy with it, it's fine. But when you're not happy with that or doesn't fulfill your void, you can't let your anger and your depression seep out on everybody. And Boogie was already a guy that was already high strung as far as moody. And the fact that now he's probably depressed and doing all these things, I think this is why you have these antics that he's having. It is what it is, but I think the help comes from within the people that's been through it, right? If I've been an NBA player and I know how this goes through, and we started in within the Players Association. I know exactly what he's going through. Let's get this brother some help so we can make sure it happens. He's okay. Let's do it for everybody else. I don't understand where it comes from. Let's be real, man. We just don't take care of our own.
Yeah.
Just like we don't.
Kind of goes back to that first story, right? Again, of
Yeah,
having a bat phone where I can call when it gets thick to help out.
yeah, man. I mean, and not only that, why don't we be proactive with these things? Hey, you're about to transition. You're out of the league. We want you to come. We want to make sure we want to have services to help set you up for the future. Now that you're no longer in the league, just like anywhere else, like when you lose your job, they have these companies all over
Yeah.
this world that help you when you lose your job. They help you get your resume together, help you figure out what you want to do, make it allow you to take classes, all these things. Why isn't that for professional athletes? And mindful, why isn't it for professional organizations definitely that are minority based?
Yeah.
It's not there. That the help is not there. And we could all say, oh, they have millions of dollars. They should be able to help themselves. They should figure it out. Well, what about when you don't? What about when you
Yeah.
made bad investments? What
When
if
you
you
don't
don't
know
understand the
how to?
situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know how to deal with these situations, and now you're in this mix where, hey, I used to have 40 million coming in. Now I'm barely making 400 a week.
All right.
And remember, if you're making 400, you got 400 million worth of expenses. So
Tell it what I can only
those
imagine.
things, it starts to become stressful, and people have to figure it out. I mean, I truly believe this, man. Only in our athletics and our entertainment world where we don't have anything set up for when people kind of age out and go away.
Mm.
There's nothing there to help them with the transition from those things. There's nothing there. There's really no mentors to help you kind of go from one to the next to show you the way, to help you find what your interest is outside of the sport or outside of the entertainment thing you were doing. You got to think the most all the most former millionaires are rappers and athletes.
Yep. That is true.
Had it and it's gone.
Bought a fleet of cars. Bought everyone in your crew a car in the house. Bought all the jewelry. Didn't invest
I mean,
nothing.
didn't invest, didn't understand what the dollar meant, didn't understand your old taxes and
Didn't
all this
understand.
stuff.
You just like right there. I was going to say, didn't understand taxes. Good
Yeah,
Lord.
didn't understand those parts, and now this hits you. But guess what? Even after it hits you and you didn't know, those people that it happened to, they're not even willing to get back to show the next person to say, "Hey, this man don't fall into this trap." You know, you just had this hit record. You just made $10 million. Look at Uncle Sam taking four. Man, you got six now. What you got to do with the six is diversify. And his, guess what? All those concerts you play in, you're gonna get taxed in every state. So you got to make sure you set aside money for. Why is the person that did it before and failed not willing to give back the knowledge so the next person doesn't fail?
Last time I heard someone of stature say that, and actually, so give him some props. And he was actually on TV recently hosting. Kevin Hart said this at a Grant Cardone conference, and he talked about that exact same thing. I get paid, I get a check. I split that check. This is him. I'm paraphrasing. Check, split it in half. Half of that goes away, and that's used for paying taxes. That half right there that's left, he splits that again in half, and he puts that into an account to be used for future projects, real estate, just investments into something else, and then he lives off of that last piece. So, real conscious in terms of how he leverages and utilizes the cash that comes into his banking account. He splits it multiple times, takes care of the government money because that's going to come out first and foremost. Puts some aside to do his investments and things of that, and then lives within his means of whatever that large check is, and he's been successful thus far. I'll see if I can find the link
I,
to that.
I, I, I think that's great, and I mean he's breaking it down that way. But I think also, people only gonna follow the people that was kind of before them or the people they idolize, right?
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
people don't understand that a lot of those players are broke now, or they don't have the money they had.
Yeah.
Why aren't you saying, hey, let's show these guys some? The only one person I know is Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson's a person who said he's always tried to give back and try to give back knowledge and try to show the youngsters what to do. But his thing was like, you know, you alluded to earlier, they don't want to listen. But I mean, at some point, we need to force them to listen, right? We need to force them. CEO kids listen to their dad or their mom, who's a CEO, because they know at some point they're going to be running the company, whether they want to do it at that time or not. Obviously, at 21, 22 years old, you don't want to listen. You want to go have fun. But guess what? You're going to need it when you get 28, 29, 30. So they force them to have the knowledge. Why are we forcing ours to gain that knowledge so they don't fall into that bucket? You know, and it's kind of, it's disheartening. How can we have so many former millionaires? Think about it. How can we have so many former millionaires? That doesn't make any sense. How can we have someone, unfortunately, I don't like to put his business, but like Warren Sapp, how can somebody that made that much money not have a lot of money no more? How come some of these ex-NBA players don't have a lot of money no more when they made all this money? You know, and we can keep saying poor investments and all this stuff, but also the situation is just knowledge about what you're doing and how to do it, and no one's giving them the knowledge. Think about it. If I've been in the NBA 10 years, now let's
Yeah.
take Warren Sapp for example. Warren Sapp was in the NFL for 10 years plus. You mean nobody around that circle sat down and said, "Man, hey, bro, you going through your money fast, man? Man, you need to do this and do X, Y, and Z. Like, you need to set this up, man. Set up a UIL, you know, universal life insurance, so you can
Mm-hmm.
borrow against it when you get a little bit. Why don't you do these things and do X, Y, Z? If you made 40 million, take away cash, brother, you should be walking away with at least 25.
Liquid.
But guess what though? Guess what?
Liquid.
That same conversation I bet you was given to John Lynch, and that's why John Lynch is running the San Francisco 49ers now.
Yes, sir.
He ain't
Yep.
broke. And don't tell me, oh man, you know, you're grown, they should learn their own. No. At some points, man, we just because you're grown in that era, those guys sometimes just want to play football. That's it. That's all their mind is playing football and getting that check. Why isn't that somebody in their crew, in that circle around, or those peers around them saying, hey, we need to get ready for the rainy day?
Yeah.
Because
And you think about this too, and I don't mean, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just thought about this. When you pluck folks out of environments who don't have access to that type of schooling or that type of information, they don't know any better. They don't even know how to ask for the help. Right? You pull me from the streets. You see me down there playing basketball or football on a local community court or local community field. You recruit me, boom. Now coming from less than nothing, now I'm making hundreds of millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever the case may be. I don't know how to ask Montel Allen, hey, bro, listen, I'm getting these checks. I want to buy my mama a house. I want to buy my dad a car. I want to do all this, but what else? How do I make sure that these checks last for a long, long time? How do I make sure these checks take care of my kids, and their kids? We don't know how to ask that when we come
yeah,
from those
but
situations.
why do we have to ask when they're just being, it's either being forced or it's just being
All
taught?
right, touche, brother, touche. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be you have to ask. It should be somebody volunteering the information
yeah,
from you.
at that
Hey,
level.
bro,
Okay.
hey, yeah, man, we played in Chicago, man. Did you get your Illinois tax return? No, man.
Yeah.
What, man? You know you got to pay Illinois taxes, right? We played the game in there. You made X, Y, that much money there. You got to pay them. Oh
Wow,
man, I
touche.
didn't know.
Okay.
Let me hit you to my tax attorney, man, so you can get them. A tax attorney, I don't even. All those things, man, need to be coming into play, and it shouldn't be isolated information. It should be shared information. Because you got to think, if all those people that made millions of dollars still had millions of dollars, guess what? They would give money back to their community. Our communities wouldn't be in destitute like they are. They would give back to who they need to give back to, and not only they'd be better for themselves in the long term. So it's great and good for everybody, but all these ex entertainers and ex them that are broke now are destitute, and now they wish somebody would have gave them information.
Yeah.
Well, instead of wishing somebody would have gave you information, why don't you give information?
Set up an
Tell them not to
office.
go down
Set
that
up an
road.
office in the facility, in the organization, financial literacy or whatever. Right? Just this is
Yeah,
how
it
to
doesn't
do
have,
101.
just be able to tell your story and guide them. Hey, don't get with that agent. He robbed me. Hey, man, don't invest in that kind of property over there. That's the property that made me. Do more due diligence before you just do it. Hey, don't invest in the liquor. People like Terrell Owens should be sharing that knowledge
Yeah.
with everybody that's in that industry. Every receiver that's coming out that's making some money, he should be like, I'm going to tell you guys what not to do to lose your money. and I'm gonna tell you where I went and how I lost it, and this will be a
Yeah.
candid conversation. And you need to record it, and you need to watch it every year you're in the league, because this is. I thought it couldn't happen to me. It can happen to you. I was
Mm.
making this much money, and I lost it all. Guess what? These guys stole money from me. You gotta watch. You have to have somebody watch your agent, watch that person that's watching your money,
Come
watch
on.
that accountant that's counting that money. You have to have all those things in place. Make sure you sign your own checks. Don't give anybody the right to sign checks in your. All those little things these guys should know. He should be telling them. He should actually be having a conversation telling them. All those guys should be telling them, so it doesn't happen to the next person. And that way, we don't have former millionaires. We have guys that continue to be millionaires and be prosperous in our community.
Yeah,
That's
I
just
think he
me.
was going
That's
to get
my
a
take.
master class today, huh? In financial literacy.
That's not financial literacy,
What
brother.
what
That's
well
just
it is
that's sharing information. That's
Econ
information.
101. It's because it's pretty basic. I'm
Yeah.
right. It's basic and it's more common sense, and it makes sense. Again, watch your money, especially if it's your money. Don't be giving it out to a whole bunch of folks that weren't part of your original crew. Like Drake said, we don't need no whole bunch of new friends. I'm just gonna have
No,
my small circle with me. Uh,
I, I'm sure one more thing. The person that I've seen do it the best, and that I've known about the professional athletes, has been Chris Olave. Chris Olave has done it to a T. His
mm,
family's been involved every step of the way. They filtered out the agents they wanted based on the deal he signed with the agent. He wanted to make sure his brother became an agent. So under the tutelage of the agent he started with, he makes sure in his deal where the agent, I think it's an 80-20 split when the agents get you deals outside of football, like for your endorsement deals, it's an 80-20 split. He makes sure his brothers got 5% each of those deals. The agent gets 10 and he gets the 80.
wow.
He's set his family up for long-term success in the business of football. And I applaud him 1,000% because I don't know where he learned that from or where his family learned that from or however they learned it, whatever they did. But people need to take a page out of his book for real and learn how to do things right, because he took care of his family in the whole process. And that's what I'm talking about. Sharing knowledge and giving those things back. Sharing that knowledge with the next rookie that comes in or the next guy that comes in, like, hey, this is how you ought to do it. And I know he's done it. And the reason why I'm saying, I know he's done that.
Yeah.
He's done that with people. So sharing that knowledge with folks, man, is so important. And then also not just sharing it, but making sure they follow through. Being that person that's gonna follow, hey man, did you take care of that?
Yeah.
Oh man, I had time. Bro, I'm telling you, you need to take care of it.
You
Look,
need to make time.
I'm gonna take you down to my lawyer tomorrow while we at lunch, and you can discuss and chop it up with him, and he gonna tell you how to do this and make that work. I don't want to see you in the league 28 years old and you about to be broke. I mean,
No,
that's
that's true.
game,
Because
man.
I was over here looking at Chris's his financials, his current
Yeah,
contract, and we talking $34 million, and
yeah,
for him to manage that the right way and to divvy it up, kind of like you were saying. Yeah, were you supposed to go make this deposit? You didn't make it. Well, let's get in the car right now or something, right? Let's.
yeah, exactly, man. You got to not only share knowledge, but you got to hold them accountable, right? It's knowledge and accountability, and then follow through. So if you do those three things with whoever you're mentoring, 99 times out of the year, you're gonna have success. Knowledge, accountability, and follow through. Make sure they've done it. Give them the knowledge, make sure they're held accountable, and make sure they follow through.
There it is, right there. We gonna end on that note, because that right there, that's the hotness right there. We're gonna let that marinate. Uh, I don't have a culture story for you, brother, because again, I just flew in literally this morning, so I don't know what's going on. I'm
I got
still,
one real quick before we get off.
yeah.
Man, what's up with your girl Paige Becker?
She killing them.
Man,
Come on now. I told you don't play
she
with
doing all right.
P5.
And then what's wrong with your girl Caitlin Clark, man? What's going on? And Angel
Hey,
Reese, man, that whole debacle. But
that
I mean, I know we talked about it last week, but I'm just
hey,
talking about
if
they
you want to go to a
standpoint from.
Chicago game when they play in Indiana, and if Caitlin not playing, I think the tickets are $3. I think. but when Caitlin come back, they're gonna be around $100. That's the
Yes, yeah,
conversation right there.
yeah. And
That's
I
the
think
conversation.
Angel Reese, if Angel Reese don't start playing up to her potential, she gonna get traded.
Angel Reese
I hate
had
to say
what,
it.
4 points or something the other day and 3 rebounds or whatever. She
Yeah,
come on.
she's a rebound machine, but she's not scoring. I
She not
mean,
scoring, man. The form is listen, come on, sis. We rooting for you. We really are rooting
yeah,
for you. But you got a
yeah.
lot of
Before you
good
stand
people
on
around you.
that soapbox and preaching, I should be just as recognized as Caitlin. You need to put some numbers up to emulate
You know
what Caitlin's doing.
what she say? She said, I'm not, there's not just one person, everybody come to the WNBA to watch these games. They come to see me too. Yeah, they come in because it's only $3 when you playing. So I can bring the whole
And she's
neighborhood.
so talented, man. To me, she's letting social things get in the way of her game.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, her podcast and all the fashion stuff she's
All
doing
that.
and modeling.
All that.
You know, that's great and all, but your bread and butter that got you to that point is your basketball skills. She needs to she needs to hone in on her basketball skills, at least while the season's going, cut all that other stuff going on,
Yeah,
focus on
lock
the
in.
season. Yeah, and
So
get
so that's the benefit, or so that's what Kayla's doing, right? Again, Kayla will go out there and do a little golf or whatever. She didn't even play right in the off-season issue. Well, obviously didn't go in with the unrivaled,
yeah,
but
yeah.
said I'm just gonna play a little bit of golf off-season. I'm gonna get in the gym. You saw her when she first came, the season getting ready to start. It looked like she'd been in the gym a lot, working on
Mm-hmm.
the game. I mean,
Yeah.
this is business now. If you want to be one of them ones,
It's
besides
business
just
time.
a shoe representative at Reebok, and I know that because I watched the Shaq and the Reebok thing where when they signed Angel as one of the
Mm-hmm.
initial ambassadors or athletes. You're gonna have to 4 points and 2 rebounds.
Yeah, that's not gonna cut it.
That's not
Now
going.
the person with her skill set. Not a person with her
Yeah,
skill set. That's not
yeah.
gonna cut it. Like she should be averaging a double double a game, but it should be at least 15 and 10 every night. You know, be the double double machine, and I think she's capable of doing it. But don't get there and scream. Don't scream fire when you ain't hot. You can't scream fire when you ain't hot. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. So I wish her the best. Caitlin Clark, I hope she gets better for the game so the game can come back. I mean, now as you notice, since she hasn't been playing, they haven't been showing as many games of everybody as they usually do. Hopefully she gets back to spark that interest up again. I know she's not the only player, a good player in the WNBA, but I think she brings so much light. So we're starting to recognize how good the game is. And I've been echoing it for so many years. WNBA got some ballers
Yeah,
for girls.
yeah.
And
We know.
not for girls, they got some ballers, period. They got some girls that can play some hoop. And it's a very pure game. I like the way the game is played. Um, I think if you haven't watched it, you need to watch one and support. I think that they got a really, really good product. I just think they need to make a few tweaks, like we always talk about. But
Hmm.
man, they got something really good going on in WA. I hope it continues to catch fire.
They will. They will. That's a good testimonial for them. And I'm working on some things behind the scenes to get some guests on to have some more conversations about things at a higher level. We're talking kind of at a 20,000 foot level. We can get some folks in to talk a little bit more in detail. So stay tuned on that. I didn't even break that news to you yet. So that may be happening. That may be one of the people watching. May be the person that we're talking about.
Good.
So yeah, we gonna have some more of those conversations. Mr. Montel Allen, go ahead and take us home, brother. Go ahead and take us home.
Absolutely, man. Everybody, please say your prayers. Thank God for your blessings.
Hmm.
And get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations because that's how we learn.
That man right there told y'all. We out.
Montel and James, bringing the heat, team no sleep, with champions meet, we're on the mic, taking over the game, no time for rest, no screaming for fame. Talking sports, breaking it down from the court to the field, all around town, we stay up all night, grinding on the mic, bringing news, real stories on the fly. Montel's got the stats, James got the flow, together we're two